Hey guys, it's Elliott Booth and this is the Tattoo Removal Australia show. Say goodbye to the myths, confusions and misconceptions of the tattoo removal industry and say hello to real information, real clients and real results. Welcome to the TRA show with myself and my beautiful co-host Rita Da Silva, where we take you beyond the trend.
Hello.
Welcome back.
We are again. Very exciting episode today.
Yeah, this will probably come out, I don't know, next week or maybe the week after, but we're 2 days away from going to Japan.
Yes.
We're in holiday mode.
It's Friday, sliding, one more day of work, and then we are flying away. So very exciting.
We finally get our Christmas holiday.
Yeah.
I actually, when it gets real, this morning I typed up my automatic replies for the emails.
How exciting was it?
Really good.
Good.
And I actually had to delete the last one from when we went to Brazil.
11
months ago, 12 months ago. Yeah. Actually it was 13 months, but yeah, so it's really exciting when I type the email saying politely like, hey, book in yourself. Don't expect a response for a while. And then clicking the start date for Sunday. So
how exciting.
Yeah. Yep. Really cool.
So before we go, we're going to do a little bit different episode today. Yeah. Normally we answer to questions about only tattoo removal, mostly. But today we want to understand a little bit more about you, about the idea of the clinic, and share a little bit more about your own journey.
Okay.
And see,
Cool.
give it a bigger perspective, how you start.
So less tattoo removal specific and more the clinic, the business side of things specifically. Yeah, really cool.
Yeah, that's
cool.
very cool. And then was my idea.
Was it your idea or was it our lack of preparation?
A mixture of both.
Let's run with it. I think it sounds cool.
Yeah, I think you should dive into the lessons that you have learned along the journey.
Learning.
Learning. And also with the situation of the bankruptcy as well, and share with people with all the new entrepreneurs and everyone that wants to invest in their own business. And you have just side of the bankruptcy and also the side of bringing from the ground up a business now. So
pretty cool. I suppose there's some interesting little nuggets of gold within it all, for sure.
There you go. So I have some questions for that. Then I did on my own.
I don't think that not a lot of my clients would know any of this really. I only spend 10 minutes at a time with people, so they are short visits. There would be very few people that know any of this.
Yeah, so for the ones then they are already your client, and for the new followers,
really true.
Yeah, it's nice to know actually who you are, who is behind then Tattoo Removal Australia, and
everyone's human.
Yeah, exactly, and we all make mistakes, but we grow out of them as well. Yeah.
I think making mistakes is fine as long as you learn the lesson.
Yeah,
because if you make the same mistake twice, that's on you. But
it can happen,
as long as you learn by falling forwards. Yeah, it's all good.
There you go. Yes. So here we are. Let me just get it. Some of the questions. Okay.
Let's go.
First one, can you start by telling us a little bit about who you are and what led you to start a tattoo removal clinic?
Yeah. So I suppose the very beginning was being an apprentice plumber and pretty much hating it the whole time. The day I got my qualification, actually that's a lie. The day I finished my time, I never came back. And I don't think I even waited for this, the plumbing. I don't think I have my certificate because I didn't even want it. I was just I'm done. I'm out of there. Yes.
Wow,
so technically I don't think I'm a qualified plumber. I did my time, did my last block of TAFE and literally didn't come back.
That's so funny.
Yeah. So it was pretty cool.
So
but you know what was awesome? I realized how shit. I mean, I'm sure plumbing for some people's what they want to do, but when I was in school, I was doing a school-based apprenticeship and I hated it. Like I would go to school and really enjoy school because that one day a week I would have to go onto job sites. It was terrible. Just being everyone's slave, jackhammering, wheelbarrowing, sweating, just
like all the aspects.
Yeah,
yourself.
It was a Tuesday. I vividly remember every Tuesday and Wednesday I'd come back to school and I was like, man, to my friends, fuck this. You don't want to do that.
It was full on.
Yeah. So while a lot of people,
that's like you grow the idea.
While a lot of people hated school, I loved it for the last 2 years because I realized just how much I didn't enjoy work. Well, working for somebody else at least. And just the whole hierarchy thing of that tradie environment was crazy to me. Yeah. Like crabs in a bucket type of stuff. So I hated it. And then, not even got qualified, but finished my quote unquote time being an apprentice and then jumped straight in. Yeah.
Oh, funny story. When we started dating, I was living by myself and then I had a problem with the washing machine. And then Elliott goes, oh, okay, I'm, I did the plumber certification, blah, blah. I will fix for you and live with me. And then I go, okay. So
flooded the whole bathroom.
I go home one day and was water everywhere after he fixed the problem. And then was a bigger problem.
Yeah.
And then I had to get someone actually.
Yeah, I recommended getting a plumber at that point.
So now I realize he just shared and actually he doesn't have certification.
No.
He did the course.
It's definitely not for me. Water's really stressful. And one thing with my ADHD is I don't really handle stress that well. Like I get real overwhelmed. And water ruins everything. So water leaks.
Yeah.
It's so stressful. It's really, really full on. But yeah, so that's how to answer your question, that's how I originally got into tattoo removal. I did plumbing, hated it. And then the process there was starting to realize that I'd done some young, dumb tattoos and was already outgrowing them. So I was getting to 20, 21.
So you're saying like just frustration was like your biggest inspiration to grow your business?
In hindsight, I can look at it and say, because I wasn't happy, but at the time I didn't have that sense of awareness.
How old are you?
2021.
2021.
In hindsight, looking back, it was because I wasn't living the life that I knew I could. But 20-year-old me didn't know that. I just knew I hated it and wanted to do something better. I could really argue that I had no idea what I was getting myself in for. I think
want to work for yourself.
I think I said this to Caleb when I was like, oh man, started my own business because I wanted time and money. Yeah. And I have fucking neither. I have less time and less money. Like the whole misconception of starting your own business so that you can have like balance. What is balance? And then so you can, it's so crazy. I had no idea what I was getting in for.
Yeah, working for yourself. I think you have to dedicate way more time.
Yeah, and it's
your own brand. Yeah. It's you.
If you listen
to represent to that,
if you listen to Instagram, you'll get rich quick, and you'll be a business owner, and you've already made it, which was couldn't be further from the truth. So,
and life
I'm only
10 as well.
I'm only 10, 11 years in, and I don't know if I would have taken the leap if somebody told me this. Yeah, right. Very full on. Yeah. So sometimes ignorance is bliss, as they say. You don't know what you don't know. So
you have to just keep trying.
And then when you're knee deep in shit, you just got to keep going.
So tell us, what were some of the biggest challenge you face in your early journey?
I reckon... Honestly, the biggest challenge that I face in my early journey, and even now I feel like I have sort of got control of it now, but was irresponsible financial decisions. Like I remember, like there's the real seeing money come into the account and thinking that's yours. That is like, and I mean, when you've had a job and you know no different, it's sort of understandable why people think that. But say if you make, I don't know, $1,500 a week comes in.
Yeah.
When you first open your business and you spend that, you dig yourself a little hole and then you get into it and you're ankle deep. If that keeps happening for 6 months, all of a sudden you're up to your waist in a financial hole where you can't pay your tax, you can't pay your GST. There's like just financial irresponsibility. I remember buying.
Didn't take it serious at the beginning?
Yeah, not at all. I remember buying like $500-$600 bottles of champagne just because I had the money, but it wasn't my money to spend, and not learning that, not realizing that. So I had to go through that. And then that obviously led to like a really big problem, which ended up being bankruptcy and stuff like this. But it was totally necessary to go through because I don't think there's no other way to learn it. Like nobody ever taught me that.
Yeah, you learning.
Yeah, even yourself, how easy is it being a subcontractor at a gym? You know, you get paid each week.
Exactly, and then you have to put your money aside for your tax and everything.
Yeah, like when did you pay your tax? When did you pay your super? And a lot of the times the answer is I don't. And that's just creating such a big problem for 20 years. Stressful, yeah, 20 years down the track. Crazy. So that would definitely be my biggest thing. My biggest hurdle to overcome was financial irresponsibility. And you know what? I don't even really blame myself because I didn't know any different. Like there's nobody teaching you that stuff.
Even if you have like your coaches or some guidance, like
nobody's telling you that.
To you. You have to go through it and goes, oh, this is like not the right way to.
For sure.
Yeah. So, have you had any other ventures? And then what was the turning point then led to the bankruptcy? Like any other business
that's a good question.
Yeah.
So I had a clinic that was originally called Lasco Tattoo Removal. And I love that name. I still have the prestige number plate sitting in the garage. I can't let it go. But what eventually, it's been such a learning curve. Like if I go back probably 6 years ago, I had the Brisbane clinic and then I got this lady came on board to work with me and she was amazing. I taught her how to do tattoo removal. She was so lovely, so personable. She built such a good reputation connection with the clients that I actually acquired a Gold Coast clinic in Burleigh. So then there was 2 Lasco tattoo removals and I was doing Burleigh and she was doing Brisbane.
Yes.
All the while I was still never on top of this financial hole. Like I still hadn't learned this lesson. So like not really paying taxes, like just scraping by to pay her wage and then not sorting myself out, not paying GST, like just so unaware and just creating a really big problem for down the track. And I didn't even know I was creating a problem. And then she left. Yeah. So what then happened? And this is a really big lesson that I'll get to soon, but people don't really know how to do tattoo removal. There's a really small pool of people that are well trained. So I realized that and I decided to train somebody from scratch, which is amazing until they realized that they didn't want to do tattoo removal anymore and they left.
Wasn't the passion, yeah.
So then I had 2 clinics, 90 kilometers apart from each other.
Yeah.
2 client bases, just me. It was a disaster.
It was hard to manage it both.
It was almost impossible. Yeah.
How many years did you have Lasco name? For how long?
It's a good question. Started in 2014.
So your initial business was like Lasco?
6, 7, 8 years. Yeah. It was around for a while. It was. It was actually around until the whole bankruptcy thing came about, and then it had to get put into liquidation.
Yeah.
I'd created such a big hole that I had these 2 clinics. I had, tax debts. I had 2 BMWs on leases, like just so crazy. I'll never get a car loan again after I've been through all of this.
Yeah.
And then it was kind of 2 things happening at once because that was part of it. So that was like a hole that led me to the bankruptcy stuff. But all while this was happening, and this is another big lesson that I learned, I decided to diversify, for lack of a better word, and start a nightclub.
So you had the 2 clinics. That's when.
Yeah. So
you had the 2 clinics when you did the nightclub.
Yeah. So that was a terrible idea. A little bit of bad timing for the nightclub's sake. So the day we'd signed a lease, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year on Ann Street. The old spot. Yeah. The old Oh Hello, or the mono for like really old people. That space we leased. The day we leased it just before Christmas. I can't remember what year, but anyway, come January or February, a few months later, was actually the day our fit out started, was the day they closed nightclubs because of COVID. So I'd committed myself to this like $1 million or $1.2 million worth of lease payments, like leasing the actual venue itself over 5 years. So there was like, the whole thing was like an absolute clusterfuck.
To manage.
So much. So when the clinic, the nightclub was probably around for about 12 months. What was happening though, we would be on the bones of our ass through lockdowns doing nothing. They would open back up to the public, and then we'd do really well and we'd pay our way out of all our arrears, and then they would do a lockdown again. And it was an absolute disaster. So in hindsight, yeah, there's so many lessons to take away from it. In a weird way, the club needed to fail and I needed to lose all of that, because it's what actually cleared all of the debts that I'd accumulated for the tattoo removal clinic. Yeah. So it was kind of like a complete restart. Lost an eye-watering amount of money. The amount of stress putting my family through was ridiculous. Yeah. You can't even fathom that sort of stuff. But in a really weird way, in hindsight, it was just a complete reset. And then the biggest thing I learned was to just do one thing and do it well. So brings us to here.
Would you say then your biggest emotional lesson was just do one thing and do well?
I think so. The emotion, Yep. I feel like there's so much misinformation floating around on like motivational stuff like Instagram and all these things, where they try to say you need all these different types of income at the same time. Like a millionaire has 6 different revenue streams or something like that. And that's really driving like this. I truly believed that because I could open it, that made me successful. And that was such so wrong, such a misconception. Like what that taught me is I can do anything. I can open anything, but doesn't mean it's going to be successful. Yeah. Doesn't mean I have the skills to sort of make that actually become something worth having. So there's
as like the way then I can see, like you were in such a young age. How old were you then?
Probably 26, 27.
27.
27, I think, yeah.
You had 3 business to manage, and then the nightclub. Yeah, 2 business, the clinic plus the nightclub, and dealing with all these ups and downs like of COVID plus
crazy.
Not having someone then give you the right support at the clinic in Gold Coast. So all of this was kind of too much.
Way too much.
Way too much, and not having the right tools, I would say, to like give the right direction.
For sure. Yeah, to summarize, I just didn't know what the hell I was doing, basically, and didn't have help and whatnot. But I carry the burden. Like I said, the one thing I've learned is to do one thing and do it well. And the things I've learned from this, number one is I will never open another clinic if it's not owner operated. So I won't use my money to open a clinic and me have to worry about staffing that clinic. I won't do it. This whole franchising thing is designed that you want to buy a clinic, perfect. You can have the brand, you got to own and run it. Yeah. Because that actually resolves my staff problem. I'll train you. You'll come to the academy. You'll get all the support, but you're fucking doing it because
You have learned.
I'm not trying to find somebody to run your clinic, you know? Yeah. So that was a really big lesson, which I've taken into now, which I look back and I'm pretty thankful for. I'm not trying to open up 8 clinics and run them all myself. Hell no. I'll do one thing and do it really well. And then you can do one thing and do it really well.
Yeah.
So when you want to franchise, you can have the clinic, you can run it. And then you'll never have a staffing issue.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah, because back in the day, I thought more clinics, awesome. I'll run them all, and sort of like misguided, money driven in a sense. Like, oh my God, if I can own all these clinics, how great is that going to be? Where in reality, not that great.
Yeah. How did you handle the stigma of bankruptcy when you're trying to reestablish yourself and start a new business?
To be honest, I don't really talk about it much. Like only people close to me know. So I don't think there is a stigma because nobody knows.
Yeah.
I mean, I laser however many people a month and
then
one or two would know.
Yeah.
Like it's not common knowledge. I suppose it's only like an ego thing, like a real gut punch. That's the only thing I had to deal with, which was just like the
consequences,
coming to terms with the consequences and the sort of stigma and stuff like that internally. Externally, I couldn't really care.
Yeah.
Nor did many people know, you know. So yeah,
there is.
I probably, when I think about it, I probably dealt with it. I just ignore it, which is probably not the healthiest thing. But just like, oh yeah, cool, it happened, detach from it. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
Like really just leave it in the past. Let's go.
Not working process this. Like,
let's
move
the
on.
The past can process that. Just move forward. Just learn from it and move forward.
Yeah.
I really, and maybe it's part of like the whole ADHD thing, but I just like so principle driven, so principle based, like learn from this, leave that in the past. Don't think about it again. Keep going.
But I think that's the best way, not the best, but like it's my way to.
It's a good way to bounce back because you're not like like wallowing in your own sorrows or anything like that.
And just be so attached to your mistakes or
what
you have done.
Yeah.
No, okay.
Man,
like
I'm
the
so happy.
I'll
leave it in the past.
Yeah. I will look into the future.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, looking back, there was some really key lessons. And to be honest, money management and doing one thing and doing it well.
They'll be
That's
like
it. They're the two biggest things. I listen to a lot of Andy Frisella, and he says it the best, that it's all you can diversify into all these other ventures, but not until you have created a monster, like 20, 30 years of building a successful company. Then you might be able to share some energy around, and you have enough money and resources to hire people to build that for you. Not doing it myself, not doing it yourself with no money, only so much time in a day, so much energy, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll be doing tattoo removal at least for the next 40 years. And even after that, I'll still be heavily involved.
Yeah, because you have all the plans for the company as well, right? You're looking into expanding in different forms.
Man, this story keeps going. Yeah. So we'll get back to your questions, because while I'm on this thought, so when the nightclub went down, I went down, the clinics went down, I was like, what can I do? And this is like, it's interesting to look at and it's kind of naive, I guess, but it like paints a real picture of like resilience, I guess. So I have these meat shredding claws.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's
so the comeback was, don't ask me how I did this, but I got these meat shredding claws into like 800 Coles across Australia. Yeah. So I was like, that's it. This is my comeback. I'm undefeated. Clinic's done, but whatever. I now stock my product in 800 Coles supermarkets across Australia. That was another failure. I have to put in perspective. They're not selling great. And I don't really know why I thought they would, because nobody knows about them. So like people say how hard it is to get a product into Coles. I argue that, because that was the easy part. You can't, because it's not a...
I think because you're very persistent.
Oh, yeah.
That's why.
Oh, yeah. You wouldn't want to date me.
Yeah.
Because I didn't build a reputation for this brand or product, nobody knew about it. So you can't just put it on a shelf and expect people to buy it. that's what hindsight taught me. But in my head, I was like, this is awesome. We'll just, you know, five a week we'll sell out of each store. And that's like times it by 800. That's a shitload of products. You know, this is my ticket. I'm going to finally get a McLaren.
Yeah.
Nah. I have 80,000 of these units sitting in a warehouse in the Port of Brisbane right now that I have to throw in the bin because the warehousing costs, I have to pay the warehousing company 15 grand and I have to pay about 7 grand to throw them in the bin. So I have like a $20,000 bill I have to waste 20 grand to not waste more money. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So there was a really, really big lesson in supply and demand and importing stuff from China, but it was cool. I went to Shanghai and like,
and
There's
imagine being your partner as
there's a lot.
I am the partner.
Yeah.
And seeing you like and go through all these adventures and go,
because when Rita and I first met, we had dinner. I'm so tacky. I took her to a Brazilian barbecue place because she's Brazilian. But yeah, we were sitting there and I'm pretty sure on the first date I told you I was bankrupt.
Yeah.
I don't know how I didn't scare you off.
Yeah. And then didn't scare me off. I go, well, it's very brave of him to share such a personal thing at the first date. So it goes, there is something then honest about him, then like opening up at like such a big, not a big, but like it's such a personal thing to
that's
say.
Interesting.
So I saw it as like a positive thing actually.
Or was it not such a big thing because I was so emotionally detached from it that in an unhealthy way that I didn't even think about it. And
maybe that's the case.
And I am really the most toxic guy ever. There's two different kettles of fish there. No.
Yeah.
So I pretty much lost everything, lost so much motivation for tattoo removal. And I just for about a year, I put all of my energy into the Wonder Claws and Wonder Sizzle Pop, which I'll get to soon.
Yeah.
And then I had the real realization a year later when they weren't selling. I had all these warehousing problems, oversupply. I was just like, fuck, I did the nightclub and the lesson in that was to do one thing and do it well. And then I fucking still didn't do that. I tried to do that with the Wonder Claws and then that didn't work again. And I was like, Elliott, you don't know how to, you know, import stuff from China and sell them to a market in Australia. You don't know how to run a nightclub. What do you know? You fucking know tattoo removal.
Yeah.
Just you're really good at tattoo removal. Just why do you not want to do tattoo removal?
Yeah.
And it's not that I don't want to. It's just that I just perceive these other things to be like get rich quick. So yeah, pretty dumb. A lot of lessons for sure.
And it's admiring to see the new launch on the hardest way.
Yeah.
You know, and now like you have this realization.
I just remembered I didn't call the Coles buyer for the barbecue section was trying to call me a couple of days ago and I didn't return his call. Shit. I should call him back. He wants my spatulas. Or my tongs.
Yeah, because he got it too. It's such a cool idea.
I'm gonna make this work one day.
Yeah, it's such a cool idea and was so inspiring the way that he got like in touch with the guy from Coles.
Man, you should have seen me. I've had to fly to Melbourne to Coles' head office and I had no idea what I was talking about.
Yeah.
I was sitting on the plane going, oh, what have I done? What have I done? And I'm like listening to Andy Frisella, like, you can do this, like the biggest pump up.
Takes a lot of courage to put yourself in that situation.
For sure.
Yeah.
What else happened from there? So from there, I realized that it didn't do well. So I've just put everything back into tattoo removal, all of my energy. I've created a really cool, it's called Wonder Sizzle Pop, and it's the most amazing branding for what one day will be a competitor for taste.com. I haven't really told Rita this yet, but that's on the side. I have SEO people working real hard to get it really competitive on search engines and stuff, but I'm not giving it any energy. Tattoo removal is everything, but yeah, one day I'll build this up. Yeah, if anybody wants to look at wondersizzlepop.com and you'll be like, fuck, that is a beautiful brand.
Yeah, and you create the website. You had help of someone helping, like company and the advertising and everything going along with the brand was like so nice.
Yeah.
And but that's great. Then you actually went to what you always had passion for it. It's just all the ideas then kept you a little bit distraction. Not the ideas, but like I think
I feel like I just love the chase.
Yeah.
Like if you think about it, like telling me I can't do something and I'm like, oh yeah, we'll see about that. Like there's no way you can get this into Coles. I'm like, hell yeah, I can. Why can't I? And it's like, you can't open a nightclub. Yeah, I can. Which all admittedly has ended very badly. But it's, just take the lessons from it, hey.
Just take the lessons and...
I literally have a shipping container here on the Gold Coast in a storage facility that's just full of Wonder Claws. And I'm like, one day I'll do something with them.
So what would be like the biggest piece of advice you would give to someone then just like start in pursuing the new business now?
Don't spend any of the money and don't watch this stuff on social media and like...
And believe it.
Yeah. Do you know where I got the idea of opening a nightclub? I watched too much Power. I'm not even joking. If anybody watches Power on Stan, the jaws will drop. It's like a drug dealing, nightclub owners, money and laundering. Like, I was like, this looks really cool. Like, so
sorry, so funny the way that you say it.
So stupid. It's like 50 Cent produced and acted and shit. Like it's like a proper drug dealing show. And I just thought, this is so cool.
Like if not the drug dealer aspect of it, I'm gonna be the owner of the nightclub.
Yeah, El Jefe, the boss. So stupid. But yeah, it's taught me so much. Just my advice.
Real life is a little bit different.
I would like to express that I have in absolutely no way made it. I feel absolutely not successful. Like I live on like $600 a week. Like I'm on the just grinding so hard. So I don't want to give anybody advice from like a ahead of you situation because I don't feel like I'm ahead of anybody. But what I personally have learned is do one thing, do it well, and don't spend any money.
Be cautious about it.
Any
investment about anything.
Just keep it snowballing. Keep it snowballing. Like I remember when the clinic first opened, I was putting $20 on boosting social media ads, and now sometimes for shits and giggles, just to see how it goes, I'll put 1,000 on a day and just watch. It doesn't react. No, I won't do that. The old me would have taken that $1,000 and bought tickets to Thailand or some shoes or something stupid. Yeah. Never again. I literally live on $600 a week and I just keep all the money in there. Play with Google ads. Like I'm doing things and that budget's like $800 a day. It's the eye-watering amount of money. But the only reason I can do that is because I've kept it in there. And that's the whole gist, just like a snowball effect, you know?
Yeah.
Just don't take money out of it.
So with the clinic doing well today, do you think then the key to the success would be your dedication? What do you think then is the key to the success of the clinic and has come back to the ground?
It's gonna sound so cliche, like super cliche. But all that stuff that I just explained, all the adversity, all the lessons in that is literally what's going to make Tattoo Removal Australia be a huge success. And it sounds so, gives me goosebumps because it's so gross to say, but like the lessons in all that stuff. Yeah, 100%.
The passion,
and then you go, I had to go through it to get to here. And it's kind of, I hate it, but it's kind of true. Like it sounds like
and the value that you give it to the business now, it's so
the passion and the energy I put into it is like I have nothing. Like I have nothing. I've been stripped of everything. I'm like a deflated, humiliated, bankrupt human that has nothing and is just going for broke. And that's kind of because I am. Yeah, I don't think anybody, like truly, I don't think anybody can catch me unless somebody's like bouncing off the bottom with these lessons. Like nobody's sitting in some office working the way I am, for sure.
You learned the hardest way, for sure.
Yeah, but It will literally be the keys to the success. It'll be all part of the story for sure.
Yeah. So one of the questions then I have here is, how do you keep the momentum going? And what are the strategies do you have in place for continue the business to growth?
How do I keep the momentum going? It's literally never stopping. Even so, we're off on holidays for 2 weeks. And I'm so nervous, because I'm not too fussed about not lasering clients for 2 weeks, because that's okay. But what I'm so aware that my responsiveness to quotes and new inquiries and bookings has to be quick. And I cannot, like today I went and bought a really high-end portable phone charger because I cannot go offline. Like we can't be adventuring for a day. Like morning and night, I have to be doing emails, because when somebody inquires, I mean, I say this to you all the time, it'll be a Sunday morning, 6 a.m. Somebody will send a contact form through. Within 20 minutes, they get their information. Within another 20 minutes, they're booked. And I look at Rita and go, this person on a Sunday morning has already booked in with me because I gave them their information. You know, if I waited till Monday morning,
how fast you
deliver. If I waited till Monday morning, they probably would have sent 2 or 3 others to other businesses, and then everyone's in the game.
Yeah.
Well, I can literally outwork them by my responsiveness, or at least minimize the chance of that. So keeping momentum, I think, is just working at a really efficient, high rate.
Yeah, as like I would say, if I would have to open a clinic today, I would see so much value of someone that has experienced all these setbacks. And now knowing then how quick you have to deliver, like response or inquiry,
it taught me everything.
Yeah.
Hey, do you want to know a crazy story? So this whole sort of motivation thing, Rita and I went to Brazil for 4 weeks in February last year. And for those whole 4 weeks, I didn't get one new appointment inquiry. So I was so inactive on Google and social media that 4 weeks went by when we were away. I didn't do one email.
Yeah.
12 months later, I'm doing 100 a week.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's super crazy. Like I lasered 16 new people this week in 1 week, let alone 4. Like I think I actually looked in the month of January, I lasered 52 new people, which is
so
mental.
It's crazy you're not having
like, so I've always had the platform, like I have the results, I have the clinic, I have everything, but now it's how I apply that is insanely efficient, where I'm just converting. Like there's local competitors, and I almost feel bad for them in the most humble way possible. There's like, I feel like people that haven't learned what I've learned. So I'm just beasting it. And I like truly feel bad. I'm like, God damn, I lasered 10 new people in 1 day. And I would love up the streets,
it's
probably
so
sitting there twiddling
effort.
our thumbs.
Yeah.
But like, what do you do?
Yeah.
I can't
like
share what I know.
Yeah.
Well, I can, but you got to pay for it. But yeah, it's just what I'm trying to say is it's just fascinating when you learn, you look at everything from like a third person and you see the lessons and you take them and you apply them, because my goodness.
Yeah.
It gets me pretty excited where we'll be in 10 years with this sort of
taking the same pace, the same commitment.
Yeah. But I think that's my biggest threat is myself. If I'm really honest, like I would, if looking back at the story I just told, I'm my biggest problem. So it's like managing myself. I will make or break myself. So it's like really learning that.
Developing.
100%.
Control.
Yeah. Like today even, I had this massive battle where I was like, oh, we're about to go overseas. I would really like a new pair of sneakers. Like, yeah, I'm going to do it. Like, yeah, you've been working hard. You should. Yeah. And then like, literally such a battle. Like, and then I have to talk myself off the ledge. And like, they're like flash shoes, you know, but just, you don't need this. Just Elliott, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, this is literally like, who are you trying to impress? Fucking no one. Like, you don't need $2,000 shoes. Just, what are you doing? And it's like, I am my biggest. Yeah. So it's but now I have that awareness where before I didn't. I'd just go and buy the shoes.
Yeah. That's
so yeah. So I can keep that money in the business, for more marketing. And then that's that whole snowball effect, right? Not take like a handful of out of the snowball as it's rolling.
So like just compound effect. Kind of summarize, what do you think then will be the plans for expanding the clinic and the brand in the future?
It segues nicely from what I was talking about before. The plans for the future is franchising and it's owner-operated franchises. I think there was a inquiry came through this morning from somebody in Victoria. You know what? I'm going to read this. Bear with me. And I'll literally tell you exactly what this guy said. Looking for a career change with possible franchise. Interested in tattoo removal, although not experienced. In Victoria, would like to know about getting qualified, setup and franchise costs, etc. So awesome. To give you an idea, there's people like this that is interested in tattoo removal and sees value in what I know. That person in particular doesn't have experience. They don't need it because I got it. The academy, it's mandatory. So say if this person does open up a clinic in Victoria, you wouldn't want to have another tattoo removal clinic in Victoria because I'm coming for you. But basically although that person doesn't know how to do it, they've got to spend a couple months with me here learning. And then once it opens, I'll go down there.
And then help the business too.
Yeah. So I can teach somebody like the story before with the lady that I brought in. I taught her how to laser. She was amazing. This guy is heavily invested time. Like if somebody buys a franchise, if this person was to, they're financially invested. They're not going anywhere. So what better opportunity than for me to put energy into somebody, train them, because it's in the whole brand's best interest for that person to become an absolute weapon at tattoo removal. So I can create that so easily. And because they're financially invested and employed by the clinic, they're never leaving, or at least not for a long time. So that is the future, where it's essentially myself being like an owner operator in the clinic, but with all of my experience and knowledge driving that brand and marketing for them. So they build the relationships with their clients and they deliver the results when I deliver all of the steer the ship, basically.
I believe in Victoria would be like a great location too.
I get so competitive. Yeah. There's a big chain that I'm competing with. In my head, I'm competing with them. And there's a few down there. And I'm like, I would love to just go down there and outdo you all. So I think the future is clinics, owner operated, the same brand.
Under tattoo removal.
Yeah. And the other thing that I would like to say, this is not like a get rich quick thing. So how I've modeled the franchising, it's not just to sell a franchise. I'm not just selling you a franchise. I'll train you. There you go, do your thing. I'm doing a 50-50 investment. So what it costs, they pay half, I pay half. It's you and me in business together.
Both of us.
I'm not
invested.
Yeah. Like you bet your ass we're going to win because half of it's mine. Half of it's yours. Let's go.
Yeah, so you guys help each other.
Yeah,
because I
see so many franchises, and granted, mainly like fast food franchises, but I see this like quality problem where they're not all the same, and I'm like,
you going to one business,
and you feel bad, like you feel like somebody they've just been sold like a franchise and then left to figure it out on their own, if that makes sense. Where I'm not really interested in making money from the franchise sale and then letting you deal with it. And then they're like, I've already made my money. I think the total opposite. I'm like, let's both go in. Overheads will be super low because we're going to do it together. And then let's just build. Yeah. And in 10 years, that's where the real financial benefit will come. Not from you, but from...
And how I see you have worked so hard to ground up then clinic, then you want like a very good representation of your values as well and of the service you deliver.
For sure.
So
I haven't responded to this person, but I'll ask them a bit about them. You know, like tell me you want a career change. Like what have you been doing? Truth be told, I don't care what they've done, but what I care about is how long they've done it for. If they said, I've started this a couple of years ago, now I want to get out, that's a massive red flag. And I won't go into business with that person. Because what I've learned is you want somebody that's going to stick it out. Like if this person, man, they could be a concreter for all I care, but if they've done that for 15 years, they're going to battle in a tattoo removal clinic for 15 years. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Not this this new generation and era of do a job for a year. The grass is greener over there. It's,
Yeah, not the way the new DJ.
No, so there's exactly, and I learned that. So yeah, I've learned it. I don't need you to learn it through me again. You know, So I don't really care what experience you have, just how long you've done whatever the hell it is. If your like character traits are resilience and just
believing,
and that whole thinking the grass is greener is just gonna get you nowhere fast.
Interesting. Yeah. So that was, I think that was
us
we're done, today.
How long has this been? Has that been a while?
It's been, I think.
Let's wrap it up. Thank you so much for sort of having a different approach for this episode.
I thought that maybe we would share something a little bit more of yourself. Then you have such a beautiful experience.
Beautiful
and
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Always.
Yeah, there's always a few little lessons we can learn along the way. And who am I not to share them?
Yes.
I think that's a big thing.
I think it's very important. Yeah. We don't know, like so many people could be going through like their own battles, like experiencing similar things, and like listen to someone that has experienced on the hard way. You know, it's has learned on the hard way.
And just to recap everything, just do one thing and do it really well. You can do it better than anybody if you give it everything.
There you go, guys.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.